Before I get to the topic of this video, I'd like to tell you all a story. And by story, I mean something that actually happened. And I know none of you are going to believe this story, but it means a lot to me. It was a very special moment in my life, and I just feel the need to share it with you all. About 6 months ago, before I deployed to Afghanistan, I was in San Francisco and had the opportunity to hang out and meet with some interesting people. Some of these people happen to be prominent figures on YouTube. I got to sit down and have lunch with a liberal viewer. I was fortunate enough to have been told by Lacey Green that she had brought her rape whistle, wore her rape underwear, and that if I tried anything, people were going to hunt me down and gut me like a fish. But the one thing I will never forget was the night I lost my virginity. And there's one particular moment of that night I'd like to tell you about. I was in bed with this girl, you know, doing my thing, and all of a sudden she's like, "Fuck, I gotta go pee!" So she hops out of the bed, runs into the bathroom to go and pee. She comes back in a few minutes later, and I'm like, well, you know, hey, let's try this again. And then after trying again, she does it again. "Fuck, I gotta pee!" And she hops out of bed again, and she goes to the bathroom again. At this point, Ken rolls over, he looks me in the eye, and he says, "That's a sign you're hitting the G-spot, my good sir." And then he gave me a high five. Coolest fucking moment of my life. But anyway, two majors walk into the post office at Camp Mike's Bend in northern Afghanistan. One of them's got a box to mail back to the States. And the other major is just sitting there, you know, like any high-ranking officer of the United States Armed Forces would do. One of the postal clerks in the post office grabs the box from the major with the box and starts to inspect the box, just to see if it doesn't have any contraband in it. The other major, of course, is just standing there with a dumb look on his face. So I say to the guy, "Can I help you with anything, sir?" He then points to the other major and says, "I'm with him." And then I respond with, "Well, that's adorable. How long have you been with him?" Huzzah! I know it's not really that funny, especially if you're not in the military, but I have been away for 5 months. I haven't been keeping up with current events and things going on in the world, so for me, pulling a topic out of my ass is very difficult to do right now. Although there is something I happened to hear about the other day that caught my eye. Destroyed my daddy. Apparently, Billy Ray Cyrus was doing an interview, and he didn't use these exact words, but for the most part, he told the entire world that his daughter was a selfish, stuck-up little bitch who was on the same self-destructive path as so many other celebrities, and that it ruined his family. And hearing that did fill my achy, breaky heart with oh so much love for the man. In fact, there's a good chance I might actually go to college, become a physicist, build a time machine, travel back in time, and do whatever I can to alter the evolutionary history of human beings to make them more like that of a hamster. Just so that I could travel back to the future, and it would be socially acceptable for Billy Ray Cyrus to consume the flesh of his daughter. Don't you just hate stuck-up celebrity bitches who just take everything for granted and think the world is going to bow to them and give them whatever the fuck they want? I don't really believe in the concept of objective evil, but if I were to put a definition on the term so that I could use it, I would define it as the byproduct of two opposing value systems doing that. And in using this definition, Miley Cyrus is the epitome of evil. At least to me. How are you gonna get pissed off at your parent for telling the world like it is? Fuck you! Some of us actually have legitimate reasons to hate our parents. My dad beat the crap out of me every day when I was a kid. And not only that, but he had no problem telling it like it was. I was 12 years old and I asked him, "Hey Dad, why don't you take an interest in any of my school activities?" He told me straight up, "I don't give a shit, son. I have better fucking things to do." My dad was a fucking prick. He still is, and I had every right to hate him. Not that I do. I think he's fucking awesome. I don't want this to sound mean or anything, but I'd really like to see Miley Cyrus get hit by a truck, or eaten by wolves, or raped by a deranged clown. Or maybe she could walk into a wormhole that transports her to the World Trade Center 5 minutes before the terrorist attacks on 9/11. Or maybe get kidnapped by Jigsaw and told that she has to rip off the skin on her face in order to live. Or maybe she could wander off into the hills that have eyes and get kidnapped by a mutant who uses her as a breeding vessel. God, I'm thinking about this way too much. The point is, if it's a bad thing, I want it to happen to Miley Cyrus. And not just Miley, but anyone whom I perceive to have a different value system than my own. And I feel this way because I'm a human being. I can't help but think things like that. Don't we all? I didn't want to bring this up until the last video I planned on making before I actually head back to Afghanistan, but people keep harassing me about it, so I'll go ahead and say it in this video. I feel really uncomfortable giving you my address so that you can mail me things, because people were wanting to send me stuff. seeing as how I did that once already, and the only person to send me anything was Megan Phelps Roper from the Westboro Baptist Church. Imagine that. But since people are asking, I'll go ahead and give it to you. This is the address. It's down in the description box. That's where you can send mail to, and so that I get it over the next 5 months when I get back to Afghanistan. I'm not really going to ask for anything, and there's nothing I really want you to send me, but I mean, if you want to send me something, anything at all, put a couple Magic the Gathering booster packs in a small flat rate box and ship it out. There's really nothing I need. Toilet paper, believe it or not, is in abundance right now. So, but that's the address, and don't forget to favorite and rate this video and subscribe if you haven't. You're awesome.